Liberia is to kind of set the stage for you folks who are out there viewing or who are at home to know what is happening on the grounds of the Capitol building. Like you said, this day, the historical importance of this, over 100 and some 58 State of the Nation address that have been offered by many presidents in the past. Like you said, President. And what makes it unique is that every one of those different presidents were confronted by different reality at the given point in time. Today, President Boakai has been confronted by a series of different wars. So the State of the Nation address for that of President Tubman may have been different from that of Torba, may have been different for President Doe, for that of President Charles Siller. Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, who was trying to rebuild Liberia. Some of the things she was saying, especially making appeal to donors and other partners, Liberia had just come from the Civil War, and that was the first government.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, I'm pleased to announce the arrival.
The ministers are coming in. It's been led by the Dean of the Cabinet, Madam Sarah Beslo-Yanti, who is the Foreign Affairs Minister of the Republic of Nigeria, and other ministers, as you can see, that are coming in with her. Members of the legislature as well are moving now to take their seats because things are. The Vice President is here, the Senate Pro Tem just arrived as well. So the works, Minister of Gender, sitting at home. Many of you might want to ask as to what is the importance of this day? Why is it important? Look, it is very, very important because this is the only time you get the president once in a year to come here to tell you for the next 45 minutes or an hour, however long his speech might be, report on his performance and tell you what he's been doing with the tax you've given to him. So this is a very, very important moment, and I'll say this to you. I understand we have to do things from the president himself. This time you're not hearing it from the minister, you're not hearing it from the Director General, but you'll be hearing it from the man who appointed the minister, who appointed the Director General. And overall, he will be telling you what he's doing on the expenditure and income of the country and talking about the state of the economy. The president will also take a moment to outline his legislative agenda for the country for the next Congress. What are some of the bills that are in the legislature that he wants to see passed? So it's a very important moment at this particular point in time, Mr. President.
Well, thank you very much, George. Again, the pomp and pageantry associated with the State of the Nation address. I am President Ardire.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, I'm pleased to announce our present.
So right. Just announced the Speaker, His Honorable Richie Kuhn, is now walking. He's leading the entire legislature, the members of the 55th legislature, as you can see there.
And this is effectively a joint session of the legislature. And when the legislature meets in joint session, the Speaker of the House presides. And that's why the Speaker is leading the legislature here today, and that by Constitution. The Speaker presides, the Speaker representing or heading that branch of government that is closest to the people, the House of Representatives. I was just browsing through the State of the Union, the State of the Nation address given by President Stephen Allen Benson in 1858.
Kindly have your seat.
And there, the focus of that address was explaining to the legislature the debt the country owed. At that time, it was $24,449. But if you do the math, dollars in 1850, yeah, just say 29,000 in 1858. What is it worth today?
So I'll just do it with this 29,000. Was it 400?
Yeah.
Yeah, 197.
No, I'm not saying convert it to Liberian. I'm saying you will.
How you want me to do it? Convert it to what is worth today? It's 29,000. That's US dollars. 29,450 US dollars, man. That's the same amount of. That's the same number today.
Yeah, no, it's not the same dollar. It's not the same. Yeah, he will tell us soon. No, that's something called the time value of money. The debt, and that was a constant address is given. The difficulty the country faced economically, the difficulty it faced just consolidating its territory, and a particular president's plan for dealing with that with that problem. So today in that line, we do expect President Boakai to pin a picture of the state of the nation's economy, and he's particularly expounding on that. No, just give me the
TV.
So,
the House of
Okay.
the House of Representatives, members of the House, the Speaker and members of the House of Representatives have arrived. We now see
Distinguished
the
ladies
Vice
and
President,
gentlemen,
President
I'm
pro
pleased to
tempore,
announce the arrival
and
of
President Wallo. Flanked by Abraham Darius DeLone, the Senate Chair of Foreign Affairs. You see Madam President pro tempore, Yamdi Kanga Lawrence. She's wearing a very beautiful red dress. On the executive, Honorable James P. Abati Chie, Prince Mori,
29,000.
Senator Blebo Brown, Senator Johnny Quay, Senator Zoe Emmanuel Peno, Senator Francis.
You know,
That is giving the time value of money.
Yes,
The time value of money.
it's a lot.
Read that again. Read that again.
today in today's economy, that's how much we were holding in 1950.
1850.
Kindly have your seats.
Stephen Allen Benson, and he's a normal address.
Still have a heritage of portfolio of around 2.5 billion. When I remember President we are first in $900 million.
Just under $1 billion.
Yeah. But when we came in, when this government came in, there is at least around $2.5 billion. So there's a huge difference there.
Just the setup out here. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. You have to avoid overcrowdedness. There are giant-sized screens mounted on both the left and right wing of the grounds of the Capitol, so everybody don't have to troop into the stage. On those screens, you see EFBC Live is being relayed to give people at the back a very comfortable view of what will be transpiring on the stage, because the House of Representatives will crowd the session to call the session to an order. When that session is called to order, there will be roll call. When the roll is announced, the Speaker and presiding officer of the House of Representatives will entertain a motion to convene the second joint session of the 55th National Legislature. When that motion is filed, of course it will be seconded, and the vote will be taken. Most likely it will be carried, and the Speaker will now instruct the Sergeant at Arms, accompanied by the Chairman or Executive from both houses. I'm giving you the history of why the waitress. Because I work here for several years. So the speaker will instruct the Sergeant at Arms, accompanied by the Chairman on Executives at the House of Representatives and the Senate. At the House of Representatives is Honorable Sekou Kane. At the Senate is Honorable James P. Bunny, Senator of Maryland County. Sekou Kane is District number 2 representative of Monrovia County. They will move to the entrance of the Capitol. At the entrance of the Capitol, they will receive the President. And when they receive the President, the procession will continue into the joint section. And the President begins to deliver his message.
And all of that should happen in just about 30 minutes.
In 30 minutes time, yes.
President Boakai will mount the
Commission Minister Matthew. Yeah. Commission Jeff Lugo.
Yeah, Jeff Lugo, the chairperson of the National Investment Commission.
Nice.
Yes, but it's a beautiful afternoon here on the Capitol. The weather is very, very friendly. Given the fact that we have experienced heavy downpour of rain for the last 2 days in Monrovia. The weather today is very comfortable for this event. It's an outdoor event that's being held here on the grounds of the capital. Was there any point in time in history where the State of the Nation address was held out here?
Yeah, he's a veteran, so he's.
I think the fortunate circumstance, the burning of the lieutenant.
Yes.
And as you know, the old capital for many time was at,
The National Museum.
It housed the legislature for a long time. Like you said, the cornerstone for this was in late under President Tubman at the building of the Capitol, the building of the Executive Mansion, and the building of the Supreme Court building. Reflects his priorities, his approach to government. Can't help but repeating that the different periods in our history dictated the content. Independent when the nation was still trying to. Warner and Payne, and their emphasis all was on speaking to the country about belief in providence as shaping Liberia's future. Subsequent president focused on the economic difficulties the country faced. There's a prayer that was offered.
Yeah, the prayer on this important occasion was offered by the Reverend Dr. John Moore, President of the Liberia Baptist Missionary Education. The supreme ruler of heaven and earth, God, in the name and for that prosperity of that nation, to realize that thou art the great cornerstone of the world upon which nations are built. We dared not assume any responsibility of ours as a nation. So it was. I mean, ours a nation founded, like we always say, on the foundation of Christian principles. So 1948, when the cornerstone was laid here by this capital building. So today we are here. We enter into a new era of our history where, for the first time, in the courtyard of the capital, which is good. I see the setup here, very, very beautiful setup. What I really do admire is the fact that they have giant-style screens planted out there. So you see the speaker is already seated with his gavel before him. The Right Honorable Richie Nambekun, he's representative of the House of Representatives, Republic of Liberia. So it is.
And people telling me, people saying I'm watching from Kanta, somebody's watching from Antwerp, that's in Brussels. Somebody's watching from Sino County, somebody's watching from Central Monrovia, somebody's watching from Wazon City in Grand Bassa.
Wazon City.
Somebody's watching from Margibi, somebody's watching from Nimba County. I mean, so it tell you the
LBF boss, he said they had, just to expand the coverage of this event, they got real stable internet to ensure that LNTV is on uninterruptedly, which is good. It's a national broadcaster. We have to always be able to inform the people real time. People on the TV right now, we live in the age of social media. Social media has overtaking what we refer to as the traditional media. Yeah. So today, social media, you're walking with the world in your hand. Across the globe, least to mention the 15 counties of Liberia, because the internet coverage is accessible in most of the unfold, whether it's in the government, it's in your private life. Once you move with it, you can broadcast from anywhere. You can do.
This place is getting crowded, right? People are coming in. Of Liberia from 1848, President Robert, our first president, down to Ellen Shirley Johnson up to 2010. And reading those about the president and the challenges they face and the opportunities they face as well. The addresses by Edwin Barclay in the early term of his independence became a trustee of the League of Nations. And it was difficult time in our history. Thanks to the skills and sagacious policy and his unification and integration policy. And the addresses that he gave too spoke to his emphasis on opening the economy. And that was a time of severe economic challenges. the Arab oil embargo of 1973 following the Yom Kippur Israeli-Arab war. Some iron ore, our major export, created a difficult economic situation that President Talbot had to navigate. And some of that in many ways contributed. Of course, President Doe took over as a military leader, continuing the tradition of a State of the Union. Then we had the war, Mr. Taylor. It was after the brutal Civil War. Well, literally, the pomp and circumstance, one of the great rituals of a democracy when the president accounts to the people through the legislature.
So all of the speeches that you have perused in that book written by Dr. Edward Dong, which president has given the longest, the length of the speech? Is there any required length?
It was pretty brief. And like I said, that address really, it was more like an address on political philosophy, political science.
The foundation of the state.
Yeah, why we're forming this new thing called Liberia. Why this new body politic. And he was harkening back, and you read it, you read like a political philosopher. He was harkening back to Jean-Jacques Rousseau, John Locke, Thomas Hobbes. The whole idea of people coming together to surrender some of their natural rights for the protection that they get from a government, particularly with its interior policy. And Edwin Barclay, following the collapse of the effort to have Liberia lose her sovereignty, those were very substantive addresses that painted a picture of the difficulty the country facing at the moment.
So that tells you that the foundation of our country was not a walk through the park.
It
was not a walk through the park.
No, not at all. Ours is a fabulous history. I think in many ways it speaks to the resilience of a people. I mean, just think about it. People leaving the comfort of the United States, braving ships aboard the Atlantic, rickety ships literally, and landing here in over 200 years ago with the indigenous brother to make here to form. It was not rosy like we know. The early struggles between the settler and indigenous, but over time we form a unique. But learn from our history is not to focus on fixing the blame or claiming the victory for the past, but really as a people to see how we can chart a new course and live up to the great promise that is Liberia.
Yes.
That here on these shows we will build a country that will truly be prosperity for all. That's the promise of Liberia.
Living up to that dream.
And that's what we're
Minister
reminded
Sam,
of.
right? You are basically, you come from the ministry that speaks for the government, right? So you've had as to some of the accomplishments, the successes, gains being made. What can you say today that Liberians will be listening to this soon can anticipate to hear from President Boakai? Give us a sense, because I'm pretty sure you've hosted all the different messages. Can our people go for today?
Not to do a commentary of the things I already laid out to that question. Not to do a commentary of what I already said, but basically, we announced that the economy is projected to grow by 5.1% by the fiscal managers, which is a good thing for our country, right? Let's see, talk about. There are a couple of issues that are of concern to many Liberians. Job creation, for example. I know that the government cannot employ everybody. Foreign direct investment. So the president is going to be showing light on organization with the goal of growing the economy. For example, we talk about salary tops of the budget that was just passed by the legislature. The first budget that we use in the last one bottom next that we try to navigate our way through, yes, successfully came through it. We now have a budget that reflects the philosophy of the rescue government, right? What's that budget done? That budget has provided in some 28,400 civil servants, particularly in the health sector, in the education, health, and security sector. So the ERU officers, the police officers, PSU, the EPS, immigration officer, but all of them combined, teachers, health workers, 28,400 of them will receive salary top-up, right? In the case of the health workers, they will receive salary top-up, but particularly the specialized doctors will receive $250 in salary top-up.
Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker of the 55th Legislature of the Republic. I have the honor at this time to announce to you the second joint session of the 55th Legislature. This session is hereby called to order. and it is hereby so ordered.
His Excellency Chairman Panko, Vice President of the Republic of Liberia and President of the Liberian Senate, Honorable Thomas P. Fala, Doyen and Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have gathered here on to convene in the joint legislative section of the 55th Legislature of the Republic of Liberia. Legislative Electoral District number 2.
County, move if I can obtain a second, that this legislative section be conveyed to a joint legislative section for the sole purpose of the President of the Republic of Liberia
Honorable Taba Vambla of Cape Mark County, Senator.
Hereby second the motion.
Are you all ready to vote? All those abstain, raise your right hand. With the year having the vote, the motion is hereby carried, and it is hereby so ordered. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, with the motion to convene in the joint section of the Honorable House of Representatives to give us an information as to the quorum that will allow us to do the Liberian people business.
Honorable Rachel Namakun, Speaker, House of Representatives and Presiding Officer of this joint sitting, His Excellency Jeremiah Bankun, Senator Nyombli Kanga Lawrence, President Pro Tempore of the Liberian Senate, distinguished members of the 55th Legislature of the Republic of Liberia, I am honored at this time to announce to you that records from the desk of the Secretary of Senate and mine indicate that there is a quorum for the transaction of business for today, which is for the purpose of receiving the President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency Joseph Nyema Boakai Sr., to deliver the State of the Nation address to the Liberian people.
Honorable colleagues, with a report from the Deputy Chief Clerk, we have convened in this joint section for the President of Liberia, His Excellency Joseph Newman Boakai Sr., to deliver his State of the Nation address. Therefore, I will ask the member of the Joint Committee on Executive, along with the Sergeant at Arms, to proceed to the chairman first. Please meet the chair. Please meet the chair. Maybe let me present. Approach the chair. Go ahead.
Mr. Speaker and members of the 55th Legislature, the arrival of the President of the Republic of Liberia. You all rise.
All right, please have a seat. Members of the House of Representatives, Associate Justice of the Republic of Liberia, prelates, traditional leaders, chiefs and elders, my fellow Liberians, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. We thank God for His blessing upon us over the youth. As our work continues to confront vexing challenges, some exist sustainable and inclusive global community. Please permit me to take this moment to express my unwavering commitment to the peace and stability of our beloved country. Your dedication to keeping in unity and national solidarity. Mr. Speaker, and the honorable members of the legislation, which mandates the President to deliver an annual message outlining the legislative agenda. A year ago, we addressed the citizens of this republic through you, following an epoch-defining transition that captivated the democratic world. At that time, we stood within the revered walls of the Capitol building, an enduring symbol of our democracy bestowed upon us by our forebears. Now, a year after the historic transition, we face a moment of truth that our democracy can be threatened by those who oppose the steady progress. However, of the People's House recently, and the sanctity of our republic, forever, it can never be broken. It will be preserved. No one's personal ambition can ever outweigh the importance of our peace and security. This rescue train is moving to hop on the boat and let us proceed with the business of the Liberian people together. Compatriots, when we assumed it would not be easy, we started with a 100-day plan to implement immediate measures aimed at addressing and uncertainty. Even with limited resources, we made real progress in many areas after the first quarter. Structure, why our key legislation? We recognize the immense challenges that lie before us, and though many problems persist, and with your unwavering support, we remain optimistic about the future of our promised nation. It is our faith in that promise. Madam Pro Tem and esteemed members of the 55th Legislature, as we come to fulfill our 11 legislations, one joint resolution. The passage of the Act pending the approval of the budget demonstrates your commitment to addressing the must act swiftly on the outstanding proposals before us: the Presidential Transition Bill, the National Tourism Bill, and the Local Government Bill, among others. We also urge prompt attention to the new zoning law that we aim to support economic growth, and 2 bills aimed at improving education and tax system. To empower the Liberia Youth Services Program, LISEP, and the Technical and Vocational Education Training TVET Commission Act of 2024. Looking ahead, I will be submitting new legislative proposals, including the Amended Payment System Act, the Liberia Insurance Regulatory Commission Act, and the reprisals through the establishment of State-Owned Enterprise Authority of Liberia, SEAL. These proposals are designed to improve governance, foster growth, promote transparency, and empower our citizens, paving the way for a better future for all. Delays in acting on them could jeopardize the success of the Arrest Agenda for Inclusive Development, AAID. In the year, issued 14 executive orders, the War and Economic Crime Court, and National Railway Authority. Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker, Madam President Pro describes our government as a republic in cooperation and dialogue across all branches of government with transparency and mutual respect. We must work together as partners in governance, united by our common goal of improving the lives of the Liberian people. We must therefore remain focused on the shared goal of progress and prosperity for the Republic. Madam President Pro Tem, esteemed members, further understand where we are today. We inherited an economy in steep decline, with Liberians facing unprecedented hardship, including rising unemployment, inflation, and growing inequality. Before our administration, growth slowed to just 4.6%, while inflation surged to a double digit of 10.1%, driven largely by rising food and fuel prices. The current account debt at the time was just about 2.5 billion, with 54.6% of the GDP. Civil servants were facing extreme hardship due to pay harmonization and delayed salary payments, leaving them vulnerable to payday lenders and informal financial schemes like SUSU clubs. Aggressive action to increase salaries of health workers, the police, and the teachers. We have taken steps necessary to restore economic stability and have made good progress. In 2024, our economy demonstrated resilience and steady growth with a revised real GDP growth of 5.1%. Strategic Investment Bank, African Development Bank, the European Union, USAID further bolstered this expansion. By the end of 2024, we expect inflation to decrease further to 6% in 2025. The country's international reserve have improved to 458.9 million, and the Liberian dollar has appreciated by 4.7% against the monetary policy as a result of fiscal policy and enhanced exemptions. We have also made progress in modernizing financial system, improving access to finance from micro, small, and medium enterprises, and increasing financial inclusion, which now covers 52% of the audit population. Implementing the National Electronic Payment System, and transition to cashless economy further demonstrate. The insurance sector is also being strengthened with reforms underway to establish an independent insurance commission. The establishment of the Special Economic Zone will further diversify the economy, promote job creation, and foster inclusive development. Honorable legislators, over the past year, we are implementing policy changes to attract investment, including simplifying regulations, reducing red tape, and strengthening legal framework, while ensuring social protection and local empowerment. We have engaged both domestic and international investors, showcasing Liberia as a land of untapped steel national companies in energy, mining, agriculture, infrastructure, and technology. Once finalized, these negotiations are expected to bring over $3 billion in investment to our economy. Looking ahead, it's of 5.8% in 2025. We successfully passed the 2025 national budget in the amount of $880.7 million before the start of the fiscal year. The first time before the start and efficient. For many years, the government neglected to remit county development and social development funds to the counties, depriving citizens of essential resources for local government and development. However, we have begun reversing this trend by ensuring that these funds also, for the first time in years, the government remitted to the road fund all road fund related several road rehabilitation and maintenance work during the year. The government arrests agenda for inclusive development AAID together with the county development agendas. We have yet to reach optimal levels. Our ongoing efforts will improve the livelihood of all Liberians. Despite global trends affecting community supply and prices, we have seen consistent declines. Our 64 parboiled rice was reduced within the first 2 months of our leadership. In addition, the price of premium motor spirit PMS by 12.53% from $4.47 in January to $3.91 in December 2024. In fiscal year 2024, in the face of global challenges, Liberia made remarkable progress. 34,077 million in revenue, out of which domestic revenue collection stood at an impressive $695.3 million, a 12% growth over the previous year. This achievement marks the highest domestic revenue collection in our nation's history. On the expenditure side, we spent a total of $661.4 million to execute the government function, the value-added tax VAT in April 2024 to replace the outdated goods and services tax GST. We are also investing in digital tax administration and building state-of-the-art customs inspection facility at the Freeport of Monrovia to increase efficiency and expand our tax base. These interventions and reforms align with the regional standard, improve tax compliance, and are expected to create a more stable revenue stream for the future. The Rabas International Airport, a vital gateway to Liberia and a potential driver of economic development, has faced operational challenges. However, under this administration, we have charted a new course, making significant strides to unlock operations at the airport. We have invested additional fire trucks, backup generators, and navigational aids. Ongoing engagements with developers are focused on expanding the airport and improving its infrastructure and management. These initiatives still instill confidence among global airline operators and travelers, reflecting our commitment to positioning Liberia as an attractive destination for global business travel. Recently, we welcomed Ethiopian Airlines, which connects Liberia to over 150 global destinations and reduce air travel costs at key markets. Also in advanced discussion with carriers like Qatar Airways to establish our air service agreement. My government has worked tirelessly. In 2024, we secured $210 million financing package from the IMF Extended Credit Facility, ECF, to address macroeconomic imbalances and improve debt sustainability from 2024 to 2027. Our inclusion in the ECF has unlocked support from both multinational and bilateral partners. The World Bank provided $60 million in support, $40 million of which was budget support, and the balance $20 million by Liberia. The World Bank has also pledged $40 million in the budget support for this year in 2026. We secured a $16 million grant from the European Union for 2025 to 2027, while the African Development Bank provided $40 million for road projects. During the period under review, Liberia also received agriculture and infrastructure. I am pleased to inform you that our bilateral relations have secured a commitment from government of the United States for the Millennium Challenge Corporation MCC Compact eligibility. This is a significant achievement as it potentially exposes Liberia to substantial financial support in its development when completed in a couple of years. This milestone reflects confidence in the step we've taken as a nation, particularly in promoting transparency, making sound economic decisions, and strengthening governance. Are historical, yet our current national circumstances dictate urgent action. Upon coming to office, my government immediately began forming a new national development plan and counter development agenda, CDA, for the next 5 years. I am pleased to report that the plan and by stakeholders across the country. They received strong endorsement, leading to a successful launch on January 15, 2025. This initiative, known as the Arrest Agenda for Inclusive Development, AID, is built on foundations of the pro-poor agenda for prosperity and the development and the agenda for transformation. The AID is a set to cap Vision 2023, Liberia's ambitious goal of becoming a more capable and developmental state, ultimately achieving lower middle income diversification, focusing on agriculture, rural development, and infrastructure, prioritizing public health and sanitation, promoting tourism and environmental sustainability. The total estimated cost of the transformative development plan is $8.4 billion. Our total 60% of the funding will come from the government and international donors, with the remaining from private sector investment. The success of AID and the county development agendas will also depend on the active participation of our youth. We are dedicated to making available what they need, including the opportunities necessary to unlock their full potential. Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker, Madam President Pro Tem, esteemed members of the Legislature, Associate Justices of the Supreme Court, and fellow Liberians. When we took office a year ago, we were given the mandate by the Liberian people to steer the nation toward progress and development. It is often said Liberia's challenges stem from the state of its own institution, and that our country's crisis is fundamentally a crisis of governance. We cannot speak about the state of the Republic only in terms of material conditions of the people, the so-called bread and butter issues. We must go beyond policy to address the deeper social and political dynamics that affect us, the undercurrent issues that run deep in our country and society, including addressing historical social privileges that tend to divide us and create tension. We are one people with a common destiny as a nation, and therefore all privileges based on political, economic, social, and cultural lines, and our stereotypes and adversarial to the values of an equitable society. This means divisions based on religion, social status, literacy and illiteracy, gender and policy must not be allowed to divide us and determine how we live as a people. In this regard, I call on our friends on the other side of the political divide, including the opposition parties, join us in fostering a government of inclusion. Our democracy should not be defined by elections where the winner is perceived to have taken all. Instead, our path should not be on the next election, but the next generation. We must embrace genuine unity and reconciliation. Today, I'm pleased and proud to report that despite the challenges we inherited, we have made meaningful progress in key sectors. Liberia has immense potential for large-scale agriculture that will create jobs, feed our people, and strengthen our economy. However, this vital sector has not received the attention it deserves. Over the past year, we have taken significant steps to advance agriculture and enhance self-sufficiency. To help reduce our reliance on rice import, We cultivate over 4,000 hectares of rice. This year, we aim to double our efforts by cultivating an additional 6,000 hectares. We are constructing 5 mechanization centers in Bong, Lofa, Margibi, Montserrat, and Nimba counties to enable farmers to access essential machinery for improved production. Progress is underway in mechanizing cassava cultivation aimed at both consumption and starch production. We have directed substantial support towards cocoa and oil palm production, resulting in 10,000 hectares of cocoa cultivation and investment in palm oil agro-business. We are also in the process of establishing a palm vegetable oil refining to meet demands commercial production. My administration has increased agriculture budget by over 200% compared to the previous year. Our National Agriculture Plan highlights the value chain with dedicated funding to enhance agribusiness and create jobs. To combat food insecurity and support vulnerable populations, we have funded a comprehensive food security and nutrition survey to assess food security in our communities. To foster innovation and growth in the agriculture sector, we successfully hosted the National Agriculture Fair in Kakata, Margibi, which now will be reactivated as an annual event with the next one scheduled in Nimba County 2025. Mr. Vice President, Speaker, and members of the legislature, ladies and gentlemen, a top priority for my administration is the development of our road infrastructure, essential for convenient travel, sets of service, and boosting the commerce. The poor state of our roads has long contributed to rural neglect and stunted our development. It is unacceptable that out of 13,000 kilometers of proposed road network, only 1,000 kilometers are paved. Improving road connectivity is the cornerstone of our development agenda. In the past year, we delivered on our promise to recondition and maintain major road corridors within the first 100 days. We have continued to maintain 783 kilometers of major road nationwide, making key routes such as Buraville to Bopolu, Wanyama to Foya, Foya to Medicoma, Red Route, Caribbean Pass, resulting in reduced commodity prices. Since January 2024, we expanded the RIA road project from 8 to 20 kilometers of paved road. The Sanekuri to Lugatu Road project is now 85% complete, with 42 kilometers paved, while the Sakripe to Tabata Road project has reached 50% completion. With financing from the World Bank Rural Economic Transformation Project RETRAP, we completed the BIOT. We have also secured financing and finance design for key corridors including Zredru to Davidstown, Putukan to Kiripo, and Barclayville to Southstown to Clinton. In addition, we are happy to announce that paving the Medina to Rabosport Road will commence in March this year. To enhance safety and vibrancy in Monrovia, we have expanded public spaces by creating alleys, clearing drainages, ditches, and installing solar streetlights. In the first quarter of 2025, we anticipate progress in the Tubman Boulevard Overseas Bridge project. Looking ahead, we plan new bridge works and civil construction on major corridors, ensuring further connectivity infrastructure development across Liberia. Our natural resources should be the source of inclusive development. We have taken decisive actions to combat illicit mining, address environmental degradation, and rebuild public confidence. Honorable Speaker, distinguished members of the 55th Legislature, I am pleased to report that we have received a mineral resource survey report from the government of the People's Republic of China. The report provides new insights in Liberia's mineral resource potential and represents the most comprehensive scientific investigation conducted in over 5 decades. We extend our gratitude to the People's Republic of China for funding this important project. The Ministry of Mines and Energy has already analyzed the data from the survey, and results indicate a significant shift away from the country's previous sole focus on iron ore, diamond, and gold. We have discovered lithium, neodymium, silver, nickel, zinc, uranium, chromium, lead, tin, cobalt, niobium, coltan, tantalum, manganese, copper, zirconium, and molybdenum, among others. I have instructed the Ministry of Justice to act lawfully and promptly to address claims concerning the Mount Blair iron ore deposit in Nimba County. The Liberia Electricity Corporation has been returned to its statutory structure. The corporation successfully negotiated additional electricity import for Côte d'Ivoire and reduced electricity tariffs from Bong and Nimba County. Construction of the 30 megawatt solar power plant in Harrisburg, Monrovia County began in 2024. The project is expected to be completed by October 2025. Our plan is to electrify 100,000 households every year using both the grid and the renewable energy sources. Our goal is to achieve a 75% access rate by 2030 and eliminate the existing urban-rural disparity. We believe that energy access is essential to unlocking potentials in agriculture, roads, education, healthcare, and tourism. We are encouraged by significant oil and gas discoveries in neighboring Côte d'Ivoire 2021, 2023, 2024, where substantial deposits were found in geological formations similar to those in Liberia in the Upper Basin. Seismic data from our basin have been licensed to major players like Total Energies, Petrobras, and the mid-tier companies such as Murphy. The interest from these global energy giants boosts our optimism for oil and gas exploration in Liberia. Also, Liberia is collaborating with a neighboring country to complete the Africa Atlantic gas pipeline. My government is committed to facilitating its passage through our territory, integrating Liberia's energy infrastructure with renewable sources to meet domestic export needs, and advancing clear energy solutions for our country. Mr. Vice President, Speaker, members of the Legislature, in today's globalized world, advancement in telecommunication and digitization offer endless opportunities for social and economic benefit. Recognizing this, my government is committed to expanding access to affordable, quality digital infrastructure and telecommunication services to drive economic growth. During the past year, the government made significant progress in reforming Liberia's telecom sector. For the first time, we have implemented regulations that provide clarity and transparency for mobile network services, including mobile money and value-added innovation. We are also at the verge of enabling interconnectivity between mobile money providers, allowing citizens to transfer funds across the network. These measures promote fair competition and enhance consumer protection. Last year, we launched a digital transformation initiative focused on digital literacy programs to train young Liberians in various skills. I am pleased to announce that we have trained over 10,000 young people across 15 counties and empowered 50 teams with seed funding to start digital business. We also empowered 4-year degree scholarship to 15 participants, each representing a county. In the next 5 years, the private sector plans to invest $300 million in the telecom sector to enhance services and foster innovation as part of Liberia's digital transformation agenda. 2 operators have been licensed for cross-border connectivity, roaming agreements with Sierra Leone, the Gambia, and Ghana, which will lower telecommunications costs for travelers. Additionally, the recently approved Starlight services will provide universal internet access to rural and underserved communities, protecting them from disruptions like previous ACE cable failure that caused significant economic losses. Mr. Vice President, honorable members of the legislature, we cannot reach our ambitious development goals without properly preparing our citizens, especially the youth, through access to quality education. Liberia's once celebrated for its educational system has seen standards decline, depriving men of a fundamental right. Education is not a privilege. In 2024, we inherited an educational sector faced with significant challenges. 2 million in scholarship arrears, poorly qualified teachers, and inadequate infrastructure. Many public schools are deteriorated, with several projects delayed or abandoned. To address these issues, we committed $1 million to clear scholarship arrears, including West Africa's senior examination SEC, with over $500,000 already paid. We have set 14 counties, validated teaching workforce that transitioning qualified volunteer teachers into our system. We launched $75 million fundamental learning project with USAID, focusing on reading and math for third graders, and equipped 156 public schools with digital learning platforms and solar power. New policies such as the National School Quality Standards and the Center for Excellence will ensure high educational standards. At the primary level, we are launching the One Child, One Chair initiative to address the shortage of chairs for school children nationwide. At the tertiary level, we have assessed the need for renovating the University of Liberia's facility and initiated transformational leadership efforts to build the university endowment, enhancing its national and global effectiveness as a center for academic excellence in the coming year. We have taken deliberate steps to combat hunger and food insecurity in schools by allocating $1 million United States dollars to the school feeding program for primary schools. Our government interventions and investment in the education sector in the coming year will enhance education delivery, giving our children the opportunity they deserve for a brighter future. Mr. Vice President, honorable members of the legislature, health and sanitation are central to my administration's priority, forming a key part of the arrest agenda. And the first in our message, we committed to addressing both historical and emerging challenges in the health sector. Despite significant hurdles, we have made notable progress. Today, we are pleased to report that public health centers in all 15 counties have received essential medicine, and community pharmacy initiative is being piloted nationwide. Maternal and child mortality rates have decreased, with child vaccination rates. Abuse remains an epidemic impact on our national security. To date, we have made steady progress in raising awareness and preventing drug abuse. To demonstrate our commitment, my Vice President and I led the example by undertaking drug tests. Several at-risk youth have completed rehabilitation, reintegrated into our society. Notably, we acquired 50 acres in Bensonville, Monrovia County, where pre-construction activities have begun for a new psychiatric hospital to build mental health and substance use abuse. A regional diagnostic center is under development in Balatuabon County with 38.7 acres secured and pre-construction underway. This center will enhance diagnostic services, particularly in rural Liberia. We intend to establish 3 additional regional diagnosis centers across the country. We are advancing several health infrastructure projects, including 8 of the 15 start housing in Zredru nearing completion. There are 23 ongoing infrastructure projects, such as construction and renovation of hospitals, health centers in Zredru, Barclayville, and other parts of the country. In addition, 6 oxygen plants have been commissioned in Monrovia at GFK, Lofa, Nimba, and Grand Crew. We are pleased to announce that with the support of the Chinese government, we have broken ground for the construction of a $16 million national clinical and diagnostic laboratory at number 14 hospital, military hospital in Monrovia County. On sustainable health financing, we are making progress with the National Security Health Insurance Scheme, and the bill to create a National Health Equity Fund for universal health coverage will soon be submitted for your consideration. As part of the groundbreaking health initiative, we are addressing the cardiovascular issues in Liberia. In collaboration with the University of Ghana Medical Center, UGMC, we are establishing the state-of-the-art cardiothoracic GFK. The partnership emphasizes cross-training medical professionals, equipped in advanced facilities, and performing life-saving surgeries. A notable success in the open house surgery performed on 64-year Mr. Fokpa Cover at the UGMC, with all expenses covered by my administration. By the grace of God, Mr. Cover is here today to share the moment of triumph. Mr. Cover, please stand to be acknowledged. I don't know where Fokpa. Thank you. By mid-2025, our goal is to perform some of these critical surgeries locally at GFK, significantly improving access to cardiac care for all Liberians. Poor sanitation, inadequate clean water supply, and aging infrastructure, especially in Monrovia and other cities, have long posed challenges. 42% of our population still lacks basic toilet facilities. Addressing these public health concerns is a key priority in our development agenda, and significant progress has been made in the past year. We successfully repaired the 1 million gallon city reservoir in central Monrovia with support from the World Bank, restoring water supply for the first time in 10 years. Improvements include new chlorine dosing unit at the White Plains Water Treatment Plant, rehabilitation of a hardware booster to enhance supply in multiple areas, and expansion of water system in Bushop Island, Rock Hill, Soul Clinic, and New Georgia. We are replacing the 36-inch pipe on the main transmission line from White Plains to Monrovia with a 48-inch pipe. A new water system is under construction in Buffalo City, set for dedication in February. We plan to connect an additional 3,000 homes in Monrovia and Painesville this year. With USAID support, we are conducting the feasibility of rehabilitating the Kakatra Buchanan water system. This year, we will construct water system for Plebo and Greenfield and rehabilitating the Red Roof system. Additionally, over 1,700 new and reconnected customers have benefited from ongoing civic improvement. Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker, Madam President, and esteemed members of the legislature, associate justices of the Supreme Court, fellow Liberians. Our country is fortunate to have many qualified, capable women who have challenged traditional jobs. Gender sensitivity and inclusion is a high priority in my administration. Currently, women hold 39% of the ministerial positions, 31% of deputy minister positions. This trend continues to the superintendent level, where women make up 40% of all appointments. While we celebrate these achievements, we must also address the serious issue facing children and battered women in our country. In 2024, our government made significant strides in promoting women's empowerment and protecting children. We launched a national 116 EBV cell call centers, which provide confidential 24/7 platform for survivors of gender-based violence to report incidents and access vital services, including counseling and legal assistance. We also allocated $1.8 million in plan of International for Liberian Women Empowerment Project, which, with assistance from the World Bank, aims to enhance women economic empowerment through small businesses support and address harmful social norms over 700 communities. This project benefits 36,000 women across the country. Regarding social protection, nearly 4,000 impoverished households in Grand Bassa, Grand Cru counties receive cash transfer from the Recovery of Economic Activity for Liberia Informal Social Employment Realize project. The government disbursed total of $100,812,770 million Liberian dollars and $770 to vulnerable houses. We thank the World Bank for providing the loans for this scheme, as well as the French and other friendly governments. For children's welfare, we launched the Support a Child, Save the Future project, discovering that over 366 children were living on the streets. With the help of the various partners, we identified more than 5,000 children in Monrovia County for assistance, connecting over 4,000 to financial support for schooling. Additionally, more than 600 children are enrolled in family strengthening programs. 702 have been placed in 19 public schools, receiving livelihood support for their caregivers. Honorable members of the legislature, a year ago, as we began our stewardship, we declared that business as usual approach to governance will be a thing of the past. We remain committed to promoting openness, transparency, and accountability across our government. In line with this commitment, we have supported the independence of integrity institutions. The General Auditing Commission, GSC, has published results for 60 out of 80 audits, including those conducted before my administration. Key institutions audited include the Executive Protection Unit, the Central Bank, the Government Consolidated Fund, and the Liberia Telecommunication Authority. Some audits conducted before my tenure revealed serious system weaknesses and millions in unaccounted public funds. My government will continue working closely with the GSC, the National Legislature, and Ministry of Justice to prevent waste and abuse. Unprecedented audits of the Office of the President, the Judiciary, the Office of the Chief Justice, and the Senate demonstrate our collective determination to promote accountability. Similarly, independent auditing agents have embedded internal auditors in 91 out of 131 spending entities to ensure accountability for public funds. We have appointed the Ombudsman after years of delay and introduced performance management and compliance system. Cabinet members and agencies has now signed codes of conduct, performance contract with the President, and I have declared and published our asset as well as signed the code of conduct. The Vice President, Madam Senate Pro Tem, Mr. Speaker, distinguished guests, let us address the present concern that affect every facet of our society: integrity in governance. Last year, I spoke candidly about how systemic corruption undermines trust, hinders progress, and tarnishes our reputation. A new beginning is needed, a Liberia where transparency and accountability are cornerstones of our government. While corruption remains a formidable adversary, we must recognize the progress that we have made. Our determination has led to more transparent systems, established accountability measures, and fostered ethical practices. Citizens are increasingly aware and willing to speak out against corruption, while leaders are committed to integrity. Our integrity institutions have unfettered access to the presidency, reflecting strong political will. Payroll audits across several ministries have removed thousands of ghost names, saving millions. Our actions will not stop at the past. We will institute audits of all expenditures over the past year and address any violation of public trust. Liberians yearn for decisive action against this national menace, and I vow to deliver. We call on the national legislature and the judiciary to join us as allies in this patriotic journey. Acting on audit reports and fast-tracking corruption cases will restore public confidence in government. Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker, Madam Pro Tem, legislators, and associate justices of the Supreme Court, and fellow Liberians, in 2024, public service underwent significant reforms, focused on increasing accountability and efficiency. The Employees Status Regulation Project improved payroll integrity and saved over $8 million. We also introduced national policy guidelines for recruiting independent consultants, reducing their numbers from nearly 1,000 to 94, and cutting costs from 6.1 million to 1.4 million, saving an additional 4.7 million. These initiatives further transparency and enhance public service efficiency. We conducted a workforce analysis that revealed a skilled gap on aging workforce, a 31% underrepresentation of women, guiding target initiative for a more diverse and capable workforce. Key reforms also included reconstructing the Civil Service Board of Appeal, launching National Civil Service Training Center, reviewing wage disparity, and improving retirement and pension process. In view of this, we call on you, members of the legislature, to consider the timely passage of the draft bill to fully operationalize the Civil Service Commission in keeping with Article 89 of the Constitution. On the communication front, the Liberia broadcasting system is making significant progress in the construction of the new television and radio expansion complex, which is ahead of schedule. This $5.5 million project, funded by the People's Republic of China through the China Aid, includes complete refurbishing of the existing infrastructure and introduction of modern advanced equipment. Once completed, LBS radio and television network will experience substantial improvement in their ability to inform, educate, and entertain the public. My government is dedicated to promoting freedom of the press, fostering an environment where the media can thrive. To support this commitment, operational licenses were issued to 45 new print and electronic media institutions during the period under review. In an age where information is more accessible than ever, social media shapes our agenda. The importance of a responsible press cannot be overstated. As citizens, we must encourage ethical journalism that prioritizes truth and accuracy over sensitization as a role of responsible press in preserving our democracy is indispensable. As we face the daunting challenges of climate change and global warming, Liberia remains steadfast in advancing environmental sustainability. In 2024, we developed regulations to conserve air, water, and soil with international climate financing. We are constructing coastal defense to protect vulnerable areas such as West Point, Greenville City from sea erosion. We have enhanced climate reporting by establishing a meteorological center and the Climate Smart Lab at the University of Liberia. Our commitment extends to enforcing environmental laws and signing international agreements to mitigate climate impact. Liberia's nationally determined contributions, NDC, are ambitious, aiming for 64% reduction in emission by 2030. We are expanding our NDCs to encompass freshwater ecosystem, land rights, and youth involvement, reinforcing Liberia's leadership in global climate fight. Positioned to benefit from the carbon market, with over 42% of the Upper Guinea rainforest under our stewardship, we are developing a legal framework to facilitate participation in these markets. The National Climate Change Steering Committee is leading the efforts with support from key international partners. Honorable members of the legislature, as we address people today, we focus on critical issues of land governance. Young our citizens, land is one of our most vital resources, a gift from God and our forefathers that offers opportunities for livelihood and economic development through investment. However, Liberia faces escalating land conflict. Our court systems are overwhelmed with land cases, and headlines highlight disputes between investors and communities alongside powerful individuals grabbing land from the vulnerable. Land conflicts in Liberia are rooted in historical grievances, poor governance, and increasing pressure on land use. I assure you that we are taking bold steps toward change, ensuring our people receive historical justice and, more importantly, providing them with opportunity to make productive use of their resources. In 2024, we issued these to 24 land-owning communities, securing almost 1 million acres land and benefiting more than 200,000 Liberians. We also imposed a moratorium on public land sales to curb speculative grabs, which will be lifted only after guidelines are established. Mr. Vice President, Associate Justice has given Liberia's standing in the world a top priority following reputational setbacks in the last few years. In past year, Liberia's foreign policy and external relations have seen many shifts. These steps have begun to restore the country's reputation, repositioning us as a respected actor. Here, we step up effort to establish new bilateral relations while engaging with others to deepen existing relations. Key initiatives have raised Liberia's profile and reinforce our commitment to stability, peace, and economic development. I am pleased to announce that we established diplomatic relations with 6 new countries: Barbados, Bahrain, Uzbekistan, Croatia, El Salvador, and Bolivia. We also signed 9 new bilateral cooperation agreements with our eastern neighbor, Cote d'Ivoire, and signed 15 new agreements with mining. European Union has resulted in 108 million euros, about 110,000 million United States dollars budget envelope, reflecting the international community's confidence in Liberia's future. As in the Monrovia Union, by convening a meeting of ministries of foreign affairs, finance, and defense of the sub-regional, leading to an agreement that included funding for the construction of a new Monrovia Union Secretariat office. Within ECOWAS, Liberia has supported efforts to preserve the unity of the community by behind scenes engaging with the Alliance of the Sahel State, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. These efforts continue. Since 1961, when Liberia served a half term on the UN Security Council, in 1970, when Liberia's Angie Brooks Randolph served a 1-year term as President of the UN General Assembly, Liberia had not held any comparable global governance leadership role. We have to change this. We launched at the General Assembly in September 2024 of Liberia's bid for a non-permanent seat on the UN Security Council 2026-2027 term. I am proud to report that Liberia has secured key endorsement for its candidacy, receiving support from both the African Union and ECOWAS. Liberia stood with Ukraine in protecting its sovereignty and has supported ceasefire in Gaza, as well as return of the UN Agency for Palestine to serve humanitarian needs of the people in Gaza. Additionally, we believe our global standing has been enhanced through the reform of our passport system. In the bid to ensure integrity and international acceptance of our passport, we have cancelled and recalled all privileged passports issued for the past 6 years, a measure that is now being adopted by neighboring countries. This measure ensures that Liberia's passport system is secured, reliable, and trusted worldwide. Furthermore, we have improved the efficiency of our passport services for timely and accessible processing for all citizens. These actions along the system, this has resulted in a 60% decrease in passport processing time, safeguarding the integrity of the passport as a reliable global identity for our citizens. In view of this, Mr. Vice President, Speaker, members of the legislature, my government believes that Liberia's diaspora community is potentially one of the country's important development assets. The diaspora is an extension of our citizenry, having left homeland in large numbers in the aftermath of the bloody 1980 military coup d'etat and devastating civil war that ensued. When we addressed this body in January last year, we made clear that Liberians in the diaspora have a stake in the future of their country, and my administration will ensure that their contribution to Liberia are institutionalized and fully honored. It is in this recognition of that we instituted policies that have engaged members the diaspora community in the past year across all facets of our national life and development. A new program starts annual year of return that make their stay not only welcoming, but also a means to explore opportunities to bond them with their compatriots and invest in the development of our country. As my government proposed last year, the highlight of this engagement will be the holding of the first Liberia Diaspora Conference, National Development in April 2025 in Washington, D.C. This conference will provide a platform to discuss, re-engage, and participate in their country's development. Once again, I would like to recommend the legislature and previous administration to commend them for their work to eliminate the unjust barriers imposed on citizens who have chosen to seek opportunities abroad. I am pleased that the slogan, "Once a Liberian, always a Liberian," now holds genuine significance. During the past year in review, the nation mourned the loss of some of its prominent citizens. Among the many who transitioned include former Vice President Benedict Warner, former Interim Vice President Senator John Gray, former Nimba County Senator Prince Bar Johnson, former Montserrat County Senator Joyce Musus Freeman Sumo, former Lofa County Senator Sumo G. Kube, former Grand Crew County Senator and former President Pro Tempore of the Liberian Senate, Petrus Sebe Watersing, and esteemed elder Alhaji Amadou Sharif, among many others. The full list will be published. Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker, and members of the House of Representatives, Madam Pro Tem, members of the Senate, Associate Justices, members of the Judiciary. Before I conclude this address, let me invoke another moment of truth in the supreme interest of our country. Beyond my assessment of the challenges we face, certain intangibles impel my actions as follows. 1, I will propose an action to plan to address the state of our nation's unity. 2, I will propose a review of our Constitution to address shortcomings in the organic law. Number 3, we will propose comprehensive electoral reforms to strengthen our electoral process and democratic credentials. 4, I will institute plans for the proper burial of the former President William R. Turnbull, propose a plan to recognize ECOWAS crucial times in Liberia's history. 6, we will convene the development of our post-war infrastructure. We started this journey together with the faith that we can face and address our difficulties, course, correct, and set apart for transformed future. Let us with compassion continue to stand united as we move forward hand in hand towards the prosperous, inclusive future of our nation, Ghana. Our progress in 12 productive months is just the beginning, and prospects are encouraging. As we begin to implement and achieve the arrest agenda for inclusive development goals this year, in the coming years, we move decidedly and resolutely forward, thinking Liberia, loving Liberia, and building Liberia together. May God bless us all and serve our republic. Thank you.
After drinking, just shake your hands.
What?
After drinking, we just shake your hands.
Drink some more. That's right.
Both committees should please escort the president. Executive committee.
I was going to make sure with
Hello?
Honorable colleagues, session is still in order. Please have a seat. Distinguished, having exhausted the purpose for which we have convened here today, the presiding will entertain a motion for the dissolution or the adjournment of today's section. Senator Johnny K. Wait for him. We recognize Senator James Bunning.
Mr. President, I move that this adjourned section, if I can obtain a second.
Honorable Mary G. Johnson.
Honorable Speaker, I, Mary G. Johnson, of District Number 2, Granjira County. So, second.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it has been moved and seconded, having exhausted the purpose for which the legislature convened in the joint legislative section, with the motion duly seconded. Are you all ready to vote? All those in favor say aye. All those against, nay. Those abstaining, please raise your right hand. Distinguished colleagues, with the aye taking the
Please permit me to announce the protocol for the reception. Please permit me to announce the protocol for the reception. The President, the Vice President, the National Legislature, the Diplomatic and Consular Corps and International Organization, members of the SOE, deputy ministers, and special invited guests will move to my far left under the tent of my first one, along with the President, the Vice President, and the special guests at my far right.
Say Kwame Clement. Well, ladies and gentlemen, about the economy, about electricity, about water, about the state of affairs at LBS, he covered literally the entire waterfront. Josh, what says you?
To be honest, like I said before the speech, I knew that the president was definitely going to take his time to report. In addition to what you just stated, the president spoke importantly about the growth, talking about the reserve, talking about inflation coming from 10.1 to now 7.1%. 7 input additional current. He talked about the solar farm in Harrisburg. The president talked about other negotiations on the way. The president also talked about the Roberts International Airport, the level of investment being made into it, and talk about negotiations that are ongoing. So the president covered every sector basically. He talked about the agriculture sector, like I stated previously, about this year doubling that by another 6,000 more. So there he talked about how he has increased agriculture budget in his government by more than 200%. The president went with brothers and sisters to sector by sector, because what President Boakai did today for me was extensive. He covered almost everywhere. He talked about our foreign reserve. He talked about where we are as over 400 million today in our reserve. The president talked about the debt portfolio, almost 53% GDP. The president talked about $2.5 billion debt portfolio that he inherited from the past government. He talked about the status of the economy when he came to power. He talked about his government reduction in rice prices, petroleum fuel prices, and a whole lot of different things. The president talked about healthcare, insurance. He talked about the harmonization fund. But a few things that struck me most, Mr. Clement, was the president's actions that he said he would be proposing for a burial of former the late President William Arab Torbo and late President Samuel Kayano. For me, I think that is one of importance and
especially on the burial of the two former presidents, a significant step forward towards national reconciliation. The place is winding down now. People leaving Section 58 of the Constitution to report to the Liberian people through the legislature about the state of affairs in the country. A tradition dating back to 1848 when President Joseph Jenkins Robert, our founding president, gave the first State of the Nation address, and that has persisted down through the years, except for some period of interruption, particularly during the Civil War. Another rituals of our democracy is address. You want to wrap it up, say something, let's wrap it up?
Absolutely. I just want to say, for me in particular, as one of those guys who right now people are moving around, and like I said, I mean, we look forward to the next SONA. Hopefully the next numbers, like the president said, he intends to decrease, especially when it comes to inflation. So like I said from the beginning of this coverage here today, that President Boakai was going to take his time. But overall, the 1 hour 20 minutes that he's president, and I mean, I could not have been any proud of someone who was being referred to as a rescue general. I mean, I'm grateful.
Let me just wrap it up. Say thanks to our guys behind the scene, the guys who you're not seeing on camera, all the technicians who've made this possible, this live coverage of the State of the Nation address by President Boakai. I'm Kwasmara. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks to all of the people at LBS who made this possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful rest of the time. Control.